It's an Omega Metroid, the true final boss. Hey, guess what? We can't actually damage it. There is no weapon you have that will do anything to this boss. So let it wipe you down to 98 less energy. You can sort of look at it, but now it's going to close in for the kill, and there's nothing we can... What the fuck? The SAX has returned! And is helping us! Unfortunately, it gets its ass kicked, and thus becomes the Core X once again. The boss won't do anything until you grab it, and it gives you... the Ice Beam. This was supposed to be incompatible with the suit, but apparently that was a total lie. Judging by the Federation's plans to keep power-ups from us, I'm not really surprised by it. This is surprisingly difficult to do on 1% though, because in normal you can take a couple of hits, here you can't. And if you get hit so much as once, death. So don't, basically. Fortunately for me though, victory is mine! We have the Ice Beam back, we have something reminiscent of our old colour scheme, and there's the ship, ready to take us out of this nightmare once and for all, and end our mission. I'm actually quite impressed I got the Omega Metroid on the first try. That doesn't usually happen to me, believe me. Good blammo! That perfect military mind, the wisdom of Adam Malkovich, continued to serve even after death. Until today, I had no idea that the minds of leaders and scientists were frequently uploaded to computers. My incredible reunion with Adam may have saved the universe! Didn't realise I'd saved myself. But how will the beings of the universe view our resolve? I doubt they will understand what we did, the danger we barely averted. They will hold tribunals and investigations. They will hold us responsible. Adam understood this, and he spoke to me in my anger. Do not worry. One of them will understand. One of them must. Ugh, this ending is kind of, yeah, diabetic in some ways, but it does raise an interesting point, how the resolution of this game would work out, and I'd be interested to see a sequel that dealt with it. Samus being some kind of outcast and having to deal with the Federation hunting her, as well as God knows what else. It's an interesting idea, Nintendo. That one's free. Not that you needed me to tell you. Anyway, here's some bullshit about the human soul. We'll just skip through that quite rapidly. Just one detail still bothers me. The ship can only be started manually. Yet, before I faced the Omega Metroid, the ship moved on its own, guided by someone's hands. Is it possible? Adam? He grew hands? Lady, what's troubling you? You wonder how I started the ship? Just think about it. They lent me a hand. Quite literally, in fact. And all along it was the cutesy, cuddly creatures we rescued that saved our lives. What a heartwarming story. And that was Metroid Fusion. And now credits. All in all, I very much like Metroid Fusion for what it is. It is very different to the established Metroid formula, but I think it pulls off the linear approach quite well because of its storytelling and atmosphere, which, as I mentioned earlier, I think the 1% run actually amplifies quite a lot. Because it adds a sense of fear to it that you wouldn't normally have. A sense of vulnerability to the shit that's all around trying to kill you. Especially on some of those very nasty bosses. If you play this game normally, getting all the power-ups you can, you become so overpowered by the end it really loses any and all challenge. I said at the time that Nightmare was still quite tricky, and he is, but I'd still do it on my first try every time if I played normally. And I know that sounds somewhat conceited, but it's true. Really, this game was way too easy in that mode. So some middle ground between 1% and that would probably be nice. If it were up to me. That said, it's a nice challenge. It's certainly something I would recommend trying if you think your Metroid skills are up to the task. I would warn you though, be careful what if you emulate it, what controller you use, because there's a nasty glitch that can come up if your D-pad's a bit dodgy, whereby it cancels sideways jumps if you press up or down, thus making jumping over core X's a living nightmare. Be interested to see what my time was overall, because I have done this in the past in less than 2 hours, I think. This time I know I won't have done, because lots of death. Lots of death. Oh well, let's find out, shall we? Anytime you like, game, we'll be fine. That's what we look like at the end, the good old-fashioned orange and yellow, if a little bit more membranous than before. I don't really like the design very much, I must confess. I was kind of hoping Samus would get her original suit back from the final Core X originally, but then was disappointed by it not happening. 2 hours and 10 minutes of recorded game time, although I know for a fact I spent longer than that on Nightmare alone. Your rate for collecting items is 1%. The 1% run has been successful. I have been Malice Caliber. This has been Let's Play Metroid Fusion, a 1% run, and I'll see you all next mission.